What's this? Citizen fails in traffic court. This'll be fun. I always find it funny, by the way, that courtrooms in movies and TV shows look the way they look because they look like these big ceremonial, like, let me look. Movie, courtroom. I think Better Call Saul did a good job, actually, of showing courtrooms as how they typically are. Like, look at this courtroom from My Cousin Vinny. Like, Jesus. Look at these courtrooms. This is not what courtrooms look like. 99% of them do not look like this. I'm pretty sure courtrooms like this, the ones that still exist. Thank you. Cold Stare for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. I appreciate that. Ghostbusters 2. They're all these, like, grand, like, wooden, dark oak courtrooms, and those do still exist, especially in larger jurisdictions, like the New York courts and stuff, but those are mostly used for ceremonial purposes these days, like if someone's, like, I don't know, getting sworn in on something and it needs to be done legally in a courtroom, or whatever. They're usually not used for criminal courts. Most courtrooms look like this. This is a traffic court, so it's even a little less than a typical courtroom, but, like, I've been to court, I've served jury duty. Courtrooms do not look like they do in the movies and TV. Better Call Saul had a pretty good one, let me show you that. Better Call Saul courtroom. I'm just trying to look at image. Yeah, this one's not bad. That's pretty standard. Like, that looks somewhat like the courtrooms in my city. 2 desks. Old wood paneling on the walls from probably the 70s. There's this smaller one from a bar hearing that was going on in, like, season 3. Better Call Saul's a great show, by the way, if you haven't seen it. But yeah, courtrooms are much more boring than they look on TV usually.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Daddy Sume with 10 bits, because Hannah is always in court. She goes ham on those fuckers, but the pigs keep dragging her in. I've never been arrested. I've never even gotten a parking ticket or a traffic ticket. I try and keep my nose pretty clean. I have no want to get involved with the law. Oh yeah, I will have to for my name change, though. You have to, in this state, go up in front of a judge to get your name changed. So when I legally change my name to Hannah, that's gonna happen. And I'm really scared it's gonna be some old white guy judge that's very confused about me being trans.
Nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Daddy Sume, when are you going to do that? Probably when, like, coronavirus chills the fuck out. I don't want to go out unnecessarily and interact with a bunch of people in my city. But, I don't know. So now it might be pushed back to next year, but yeah, I do need to get it done. I'm also putting it off because, boy, am I going to have to contact so many places to change my legal name. I'm going to have to contact my banks, my insurance, my mortgage lender, my lender for my car, you know, it's going to be a whole pain in the ass. And even though it'll only probably take like a day or two to get all the copies of the legal documents and send them out to people, I am not looking forward to it. I hate that kind of minutia. I hate doing, like, just call after call. I don't like talking on the phone in the first place, especially because I really, really hate my voice. Because I have a deep-ish voice for what I'm going for, right? So I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Well, I missed you guys. I thought I'd come back. I do have an objection to the proceedings completely overall, and the specifics of my objection I have here in writing, which I'd like to submit for evidence to the court that I'd be more than happy to read here real quick.
Well, you can hand it forward, I'll take a look at it, I don't usually read it if you're gonna hand it, it's not necessarily evidence, but it's your position, so if you wanna hand it forward, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, I'd just like to read it real quick if I may, please. I move this court and you, Judge, to take judicial notice.
Is he allowed to record this? Probably not, which is why it looks like it's, like, tucked down here or something.
That my
Sovereign citizens will record in court all the time when they're not supposed to.
special visitation was forced. That my visitation is special and not general. This is my specific objection to the presumptions upon which a false conclusion of law has been administratively made with regard to my status before this court. The plaintiff in this case is an administrative officer representing the corporate and de facto Washington state, which has legislative power to compel performance upon the letter of its statutes upon all persons subject to its jurisdiction. The only due process that its legislative
It's a pretty nice modern courtroom.
Heard on the facts of the case. The corporate plaintiff in this criminal action before this court has made an unproven conclusion of law that Christopher Aaron of the Haywood family is among those persons who have lost or otherwise abandoned their status in the
Oh, peeking out of the shirt pocket? That would make sense.
guaranteed Republican form of government and who must perform under legislative power upon the exact letter of every legislative statute with no due process of law protection other than the right to be heard on the facts of the case. It is from this false conclusion of law that Administrative Officer Nicholas Sherman issued the contested bill of pains and penalties upon Christopher Aaron of the Haywood family. This court must take judicial notice that Christopher Aaron of the Haywood family, an unenfranchised individual, has made a contrary conclusion of law to that of the plaintiff. Christopher Aaron of the Haywood family claims his guaranteed fundamental and unalienable rights stemming from both the national and state constitutions to full due process of law in all criminal actions against him, which means he is subject only to judicial power, not legislative power. Said judicial power, when
It looks like this guy gets caught recording in court in the next video, so I'm very excited for that.
exercised over him, requires a corpus delicti, or a damaged party who has sworn out a verified complaint against him. This is lacking in criminal complaint against Christopher Aaron of the Haywood family brought on by the plaintiff. So the unlawfully charged Christopher Aaron Haywood declares that his unenfranchised status as a preamble American citizen of the guaranteed Republican form of government known as the United States of America, an inhabitant of Washington State, that without corpus delicti, no court, judicial, or legislative tribunal has a criminal jurisdiction over his personal property. Therefore, the accused specially visits before the law side of this court today, seeking its protection from the excess zeal of corporate government.
He really put some stank on that excess zeal.
Trusting that this court will assume a neutral stance at law and require the corporate plaintiff in this criminal action to prove its in rem and or in personam criminal jurisdiction over the accused to be a fact of law before this court will take on the role of judging the facts of this legislative charge brought before you. Your solemn oath of office compels nothing less from you, Judge. Therefore, I move to dismiss this case.
Request denied.
For lack of prosecution, as a prosecutor cannot testify to facts of which he has no first-hand knowledge.
Okay.
The state would object to the motion to dismiss. I don't think there's any basis for that here today. That's why I'm thinking the trial or maybe apply for a public defender. Goes for that.
Well, if the court chooses to go ahead with the trial, I do have a questionnaire of discovery of 3 pages. And I can also submit to the court. Again, the prosecutor just wants to proceed legislatively, completely ignoring judicial.
Legislatively? What the fuck does that mean? Proceed. Let's take a look if that means anything for real. Proceed because the legislative is the branch of the government that writes laws, right? It has nothing to do with the courts, so I'm trying to figure out what he means by proceed legislatively. Is he implying that the opposing attorney or that the courts themselves are trying to write new law by charging him? Or does he just not know what legislative is? It's hard to say.
I'm not sure what that means, but I think at this point, I'm not sure exactly what we can do beyond, just setting out to do this again seems pointless. I think.
I object. The court hasn't even shown jurisdiction, hasn't shown a nature and cause, and the prosecutor is not a first-hand witness.
Okay, first of all, we don't object and interrupt other people when making arguments. Mr.
I'm sorry, I thought he was finished.
We didn't interrupt you, and you.
Correct. I thought he was finished. I'm sorry.
Now you're interrupting me, so please stop it.
MigURR said, did I know J.K. Rowling's new book is selling really badly? No, but good. Honestly, I've heard, because between Harry Potter and now, she wrote a book under a pseudonym, and I know I heard that wasn't very good. Like, I'm not particularly interested in her as an author as much as I just think the Harry Potter series is cool. Even before the TERF stuff. For the record, I'm not just being bitter. Like, I think she's, like, a jerk, but that's not why. I just particularly interested in Harry Potter, not her.
Well, Your Honor, as I was saying, I think at this point we need to either allow Mr. Haywood to screen for a public defender, maybe someone that could help him through this process, if he's amenable to that.
Wow, opposing counsel throwing a lifeline. Hey, maybe we should get him a lawyer. It's pretty clear he's nuts.
Otherwise, I don't see any other option other than saying trial.
Okay, so, Mr. Haywood, I don't find any basis at this stage to dismiss this action. So I'm prepared to set the matter for trial. And I'm also going to ask you whether or not you intend to represent yourself pro se in that trial, or whether or not you're wishing to screen a public defender.
I would definitely not want a public defender.
Oof. Bad choice. Bad choice.
I will come in a special visitation under threat of arrest in appropriate persona.
Okay, those terms mean nothing.
Proper person.
Like you just said.
Is he just listing bullshit sovereign citizen phrases now? Thinking that if he says them in the right order, like a Doctor Strange arcane gate is gonna open and he can jump through it?
Living person.
So I'm going to, in a moment, I'm going to print out an order, or a motion and an order for you that you can take with you today. Set the matter for trial. And,
Your Honor, it looks like speedy expires on December 3rd.
okay.
Your Honor, I'm willing to allow the prosecution more time if they need to answer all these discovery questions. They might need it.
Have you given Mr. Lombardi those documents?
I wasn't sure if I should hand them in to the clerk or...
Boy, it's almost like you should get a lawyer who knows what they're doing.
I'd ask you to follow that with the office.
I do think it's kind of cool that they each have computers at their stations. I'm not sure exactly why. Normally, I'd think lawyers would bring their, like, laptops with their documents and stuff on them, but it's interesting. Undead Felis, thank you for following. You found a YouTube of a sovereign citizen legal team? Oh, no. Oh, God. Yoink. That's going in the favorites folder. Thank you. We can take a look at some of that later. Hello, McSqueeb. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah, no problem.
December 3rd. Of a document, signed in order to that effect. I'm also going to give you a copy of a document that is entitled it's a waiver of right to counsel document that I'm going to give you a copy of. Because when have you go over this when you come back.
I'm not sure what this guy's in court for, actually. Let me see if any. I don't.
For your trial.
Not sure.
Be prepared to talk to Liz about this. This is simply a document that, as you understand and be advised and aware of the hazards or risks of proceeding without an attorney.
Dude, they are warning you. They're trying to warn you so hard not to represent yourself. Do not go into a lawsuit pro se, even if you were a lawyer. Not a good idea. Get counsel, please. The legal system is far too complicated for someone who has no idea what they are doing to navigate it. That's why people go to law school. It's why people take the bar exam.
Certainly it's your right to do that, but anyway, I'll give you.
Thank you, Judge.
And the next court date, that will be your trial date, November 26th.
Is that in the afternoon?
9 a.m. 9 a.m.
Do we have a date for the afternoon?
Can we get a date for the afternoon? I don't usually wake up early enough to be in court by 9 a.m. That's not how court works, sir. Sir, you don't get to set an appointment. No.
No more.
Maybe if you were a lawyer and you had tons of clients and you had to work around, I'd imagine the courts work somewhat within that framework and try and get everyone on the same page, both defense and prosecution. They try and make sure they have openings in their schedule on a certain day, and they coordinate with the court on that. But if you're just some guy, and you're like, actually, I'm not real great with mornings, can we do it later? No. That's not how this works. You're not making a dentist appointment. You don't get to decide if it's in the afternoon.
I can't do the mornings.
Trials are always 9 a.m. There's no afternoon trial sets.
Okay, well, I don't consent to that.
Get a lawyer.
That's your trial date.
So we're going to proceed regardless of the consent.
I don't.
Yeah, that's how courts work. You don't get to say, I declare bankruptcy or whatever. You don't get to say you don't want to consent. That's your court date. Show up or get a warrant.
Need your consent on the judgment setting the trial date for 9 a.m.
With no stated jurisdiction.
His jurisdiction is that he is a judge, and this is a trial that you are involved in as a defendant. That's the jurisdiction.
Your trial date November 26th.
Okay.
It's alleged that you have committed some crime. I don't know what this guy is, again, in here for. But it has been alleged that this guy has committed a crime. Therefore, the court has jurisdiction under you until the end of the trial. And frankly, even after, if you're committing crimes within its jurisdiction. But let's talk about jurisdiction, I guess, in terms of, like, them telling you what day to show up.
Well, of course I'll be here. I'll be arrested.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Well, at least he knows that he has to. Bumble Homestead with 20 bits says, my kid is learning about things to avoid asking me what stupid people is Hannah watching today.
That's the statement I read.
Okay.
And this is my stuff?
Yep.
Thank you.
Let's see, I just laid a stack of bricks on my side, law side, of the scales, pointing out multiple problems with the prosecutor in case. Prosecutor only had one marble for his side of the scale, and he wins, LOL. It was just a pre-trial, no big deal. Dude, you're bad at this, get a lawyer. What a fool. Is it just gonna say this through the end? He's not gonna...
Down our hallway here. Go up.
Okay, it looks like this is another one. This is a sovereign citizen getting caught recording in court.
There's a motion and say we're going to dismiss.
Okay.
Might be the same guy, because it has text over it, and the thumbnail has the same guy.
Mr. Hayward, before my attention in prior hearings that we've recorded.
And he's doing the pocket thing, so...
Mr. Hayward, before we proceed, I do see an order of dismissal loaded in the file dismissing your case today. It's come to my attention in prior hearings that we've recorded the proceedings without the knowledge of the judge of the court, so I'm asking...
Ooh! So they found out that he was recording the court proceedings that they wound up online, somehow.
Right now, are you recording these proceedings?
For what purposes, sir? This proceeding is recorded, right?
I'm asking you if you...
Are you asking me for a testimony?
I'm asking you if you are recording this proceeding right now with some recording device.
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right on that.
Not how this works.
This is not a criminal proceeding, and it's not a crime to do so. What I'm asking you is because there is a court rule that requires you to notify the court or the judge if you're going to record the proceeding.
Okay.
Because the judge or other participants in the court at the time may have an objection to that.
Okay. Is there a form to fill out?
This isn't a criminal question. This is a question of criminal procedure.
Okay.
There is a court rule that you notify the court and the judge if you're going to record proceedings. So I'm asking you, are you recording this proceeding?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right on that.
You don't have a Fifth Amendment right to something that isn't a criminal proceeding, right? That's not how this works.
I'm going to sign this
I assume the bailiff's gonna come up and take his phone.
order, Mr. Haywood. If we see you back in the future, you can consider the consequences of your actions. I'm allowed to put you on.
Is that a threat from a public servant? It's not a crime that there will be consequences. A roadside tasing, LOL. Dude, it's a court rule. It's a rule the court has made. That's different than a criminal proceeding, but you can get in trouble in court for that. If you aren't following the court rules, then it can become an issue. You could be held in contempt of court.
Notice that there is a court rule that requires you to notify the court and all participants if you're going to record the proceedings. You understand that?
He's not even saying you can't do it. He's just saying you need to let us know. And clearly he already knows he's recording. All he'd have to say is, yes, Judge, I'm sorry, I didn't know that was a rule. I was planning on recording for posterity. Is that okay with everyone? Is there a form I need to fill out? He even asked that earlier. That would be fine. Like, as long as everyone's involved is okay with it, is that okay? They'd probably say yes, just so they can move on.
Thank you for informing me.
He says, I don't know about you, but I'm a little concerned about the behavior of our public servants, and I know WSP internet spies and trolls are smoking, steaming mad right now, and would post 10,000 complaints if I let them. Oh, great, they're deleting all the comments on their videos, too, saying that this is like, you're a dick. Good job. Dude, their cameras are out in the open. They're allowed to record. You, as a defendant, need to get permission to also record. You can think that's unfair. I'm not telling you to think that's justified. I think it's fine. But it is what it is.
I send that order, you are excused.
Thank you.
Jesus, what a psycho. What an absolute psycho. Alright, what's this one?